peanut butter and jelly, pepper and salt, socks and shoes, me and your mom, TenZ and aim training. Some things in life are just sort of meant to be, you know? When watching TenZ aim, whether it's in a tournament, an aim trainer, on stream, in ranked games, or wherever, it's just a thing of beauty that you can only admire. Like, how does someone even move their mouse that fast? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Don't you wish that you could do something like this? It honestly looks like TenZ has superhuman reaction time and might have superpowers, I don't know. So today on SkillCapped, I thought it'd be a good idea to delve into what TenZ does and did to be and get to this level of aim. Because I don't know about you guys, but I want to be able to aim like this. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about before diving into this guide is the fact that TenZ has been doing this for a very, very long time. The reason why TenZ is a pro, why Steph Curry is the best three-point shooter ever, why Tiger Woods is one of the best golfers of all time, is because of one reason. And it's because these people have been perfecting their craft for an extremely long time. I'm going to keep it real with you. You're not going to become a god aimer in a week, a month, several months, maybe not even in a year. If you want to become really good at anything, it's going to take a lot of time to get good at it. Not only that, but you're going to need a lot of dedication to get to his level. But as they say, nothing worthwhile is easy, and that's especially true at becoming really good in any FPS game. So if you're not hitting a 100k in grid shot after your first week of training, don't be surprised, but you'll get there. So in case you didn't know, TenZ started off his FPS career in CSGO, and that's where he built most of his raw aim that you see today. Here's a few clips from his time with Cloud9, where he explained what he does to improve his mechanical skill. In this video, TenZ talks about what he does in terms of aim training, and you'll be surprised that he doesn't really talk a whole lot about aim trainers like Kovacs or Aimlab. This was mainly because in CS, you were able to create your own aim training maps, which were preferred over traditional trainers. I'll touch a bit more on this later, but with some research, you'll notice that pros would rather play something closer to the actual game rather than something like Kovacs. So here's something TenZ used to do in CS.
And the bots run more like realistically, and they jump when like they're near you, so it kind of simulates like real movement in game. And normally I'll just like practice like tracking the bot, or like I'll let the bot come close to me and I'll try to flick up.
There's a variety of maps that he plays, all for different reasons. Here's another clip.
What I like to do in aimbots is I like to cut off 3 sides and the end side of one side. And I like using the Krieg just because of like how accurate it is, and it has a faster fire rate than the AK. I think the Krieg is just better AK. And I'll just like get on this ledge and just practice killing 100 bots and seeing how fast of a time I can get.
If you watch the full video, he talks about his favorite routines and what they're good for, all of which being on CS itself. He talks about how he likes seeing his score slowly building up over time, and he uses as good motivation to keep going. And you should be thinking the same way, like as a bodybuilder and how they build up how much they can lift. Then he talks about how he would grind pugs, at least like 10 a day, and how he was getting better consistently. So like I said before, you know, being that good requires a lot of dedication. And speaking of consistency, something TenZ talks about in this video is that if you aren't seeing yourself improve in a while, you do not want to change your settings. And this was something I found to be pretty funny, as TenZ is known as the person who changes his settings on the daily. Whether it's his sends, his mouse pad, his mouse, TenZ is always changing something, but just take a listen to what he has to say.
If you've been trying to improve for months and you don't really see any progression, don't really change your settings at all, because I personally think that settings do not matter that much, and it's just staying on the same settings to be consistent. I don't really, I've changed my sense a few times and it's screwed me over a few times, but I think consistency is key.
The funniest thing about that video is that towards the beginning, TenZ says himself, aim isn't the most important thing in CSGO. And surely the same thing goes for Valorant, and that coming from arguably the best aimer in the world has to mean something, right? Well, we at SkillCapped have things like Radiant Smurf commentaries where people play in TenZ's lobbies and walk you through how to play games at any rank. We also have online courses covering a variety of topics, from game sense to mechanics to utility usage and everything in between. And these courses are all created by those Radiant level players, top 500 in the nation. So if you want solid advice from some of the best that Valorant has to offer, I highly suggest you check out the website. Or maybe if you want a chance at getting your VOD reviewed by one of us, come check us out. We also have a rank improvement guarantee, so that if you don't see your rank improving, you'll get your money back. But there's literally so much value here, I find it hard to believe that you won't improve. If you're looking for the fastest way to climb in Valorant, be sure to check out SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Now, with a bit more research and hours watched on TenZ's stream, it's funny because he even said himself that he doesn't train his aim every day. I mean, when you're at the top, there's only so much you can do, right? But what he does do is similar to what he did in CS. He doesn't really use aim lab as much as you think, but instead, the way that I've seen him train his aim in Valorant is by, guess what? Playing the game. TenZ is in the range a lot, flicking bots in hard mode, having all of them spawned in and moving from bot to bot, or he'll be behind the range, snapping on the floating targets and warming up that way. So while Valorant doesn't have aim maps, TenZ still plays the game over traditional aim trainers, and the range can act similar to an aim map. Believe it or not, there are a ton of different scenarios that you can do for yourself in this practice range. I've seen so many creative things. I've seen people use Sage's wall to practice counter strafing. I personally turn on the 100 bot challenge mode thing, and then I put the bots on the strafing mode, and I'll wait for them to strafe so I can practice my tracking and then shoot them that way. And I go through every gun. I use the Spectre, Phantom, Ghost, Sheriff. What I'm saying is by using the practice range over aim trainers like Kovacs or aim labs, you're getting the recoil control, the overall feel of the game that you don't usually get in these aim trainers. And after TenZ is done in the range, believe it or not, he's playing 20 to 30 minutes worth of deathmatches. And yes, deathmatches suck. Yes, people hold angles. Yes, people use the op. Yes, the death timer sucks and is too long, but who cares? Yes, it can be better, but it's the practice or warm-up game mode. In here, you can work on literally whatever you want and people aren't going to judge you for it. I mean, they might, but just mute them. Clearing angles, crosshair placement, movement, literally anything. So instead of typing to everyone in chat about them holding angles, just shut up. Focus on yourself and what you need to work on. Over time, you'll start noticing that you're getting better and better. And like I said, it is a grind. So while Valorant doesn't have aim maps like CSGO does, there are still things that you can do to give you a similar experience. Deathmatches are still really good for you, and going in the range is honestly probably better than most aim trainers that you can find. And while aim trainers aren't that much in TenZ's routine, it doesn't mean that he doesn't use them. Now, this is what TenZ is arguably most famous for. And this may look like it's super cool and means that he has good aim, but think about this. When have you ever had to make this kind of movements in a game of Valorant? Just one scenario, please. I'll wait. That's the thing about traditional aim trainers. They just don't make a lot of sense. You're not going to be in a lot of these scenarios that they're putting you in. If you go back to the video that we made previously about Asuna and how to get aim like him, he's even been quoted in saying that aim trainers just aren't that great and are kind of overrated. People just like playing them because they're motivated by seeing those higher scores. They like seeing the improvement in themselves and like seeing themselves get better and better. And now this doesn't mean that they're completely useless, especially if you're new to FPS games on your PC. I think that aim trainers are a great way to get better mouse control or even get comfortable with the newer mouse that you just got. So what are aim trainers really good for? The main thing that they should be used for is warming up. Each and every Valorant player has their own way of warming up. They have their own playlists, their favorite scenarios, each for their own specific amount of time. And it's fun playing every scenario in aim lab or Kovacs and figuring out which ones you like best. And if you want to keep warm, then aim trainers are definitely the way to go. When queuing at ranked, Valorant doesn't really have anything for you to do. So why not turn on Grid Shot? Here you can stay warm and at least, do something. I mean, it's better than nothing. And this is what TenZ does, which is why people think that he uses Grid Shot to aim train, which really isn't true. The man just doesn't really have anything to do while he's waiting in queue. So when using aim trainers, it should be mainly used for warming up or staying warm. The biggest problem I see with aim trainers is that people will spend hours on hours in them, when in reality, you should just be playing the game more. If you want to work on your gameplay, then play the game. And if you want to get better at aim labs, play aim labs. If you want to get better at Kovacs, play Kovacs. And if you want to get better at Valorant, play Valorant. So if you want to become an overall better player and not just aimer, check out our other guides. We can help round out your gameplay, rank up faster, and maybe even one day, when you click heads enough, you could join the top 1% of Valorant, and maybe even play with TenZ. And like I said before, if you want a chance at having your VOD reviewed, be sure to subscribe on our website at SkillCapped.com. We also have tons of Radiant Smurf commentaries, where we have people who play with TenZ, Smurf games, and they talk you through their scenarios, what they're doing, why they're doing it, and it's just super helpful to see in real time what goes through a top tier player's head. As you mentioned before, it's also backed by a rank improvement guarantee, and the reason we do that is because we are just that confident that our service works. And obviously if it doesn't work, then you shouldn't pay. So what are you waiting for? You got nothing to lose? Head on over to SkillCapped.com and start on your way to that rank that you deserve. So yeah, hopefully you guys have a little bit better understanding on how you too can become a better aimer like TenZ. What that kid can do is literally out of this world. As I mentioned before, it's going to take a long time to get good aim. Don't be discouraged if you're not hitting 100k in Grid Shot or not hitting Radiant in ranked. These things take time, and like I said before, nothing worthwhile is easy. But I believe that anyone with enough practice can out-aim anyone. I'll be honest, even TenZ. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel down below. It really does help us out. And that's all for us. I'm TenZ, and we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.